Thank you guys so much for joining me on another install of Miss Elle Presents. I have a new iPhone and I am now working with iMovie, but it's all very new to me. So hopefully you guys will stick around and enjoy this as I am learning the new technology. Today's episode is going to be on making just a simple dinner that anyone can make. I did some baked chicken as well as pesto pasta. So stick around and enjoy. Okay, you guys, so before we get started, you want to start to cook whatever meat or protein you're going to be having with this. If you are not eating meat, then you can start right from this part of the process. For me, I brined some chicken thighs in a saltwater solution with some Italian seasoning and lemon, and I let that sit in that saltwater brine for about 6 hours. And then I seasoned it with adobo, some olive oil, and chopped onion and pepper, and put it in a foil envelope and put it in the oven at 350 degrees. Now, this is going to be some basil that we're going to start with, and this is basil from the garden. I do like to use fresh herbs whenever I can, and of course fresh vegetables. And we're just going to give this a really good rinse in the sink and put it in our salad spinner to get off all of the extra moisture. I also used some frozen spinach in this pesto, and because the frozen spinach does come with a lot of moisture of its own, I wanted to make sure that I didn't bring any additional or as little additional moisture with the basil as possible. So we're gonna go ahead and give that a good quick spin in our salad spinner. This is one of my favorite things that I have in my kitchen. And we're gonna go ahead and spin that out, and then we will add it to our pesto in the food processor. Now, pesto sauce typically is going to call for pine nuts. Unfortunately, I don't have easy access to pine nuts. I didn't feel like going to Whole Foods or Publix to go and get pine nuts. And so I had pistachios at my local grocery store, and I typically use pistachios for my pesto sauce. And when I can get, over to the grocery store to get some pine nuts, I'll do a 50-50 mix. Now I've also preheated this water, and now I'm going to salt the water. You want to make sure that when you do this, you do not get salt all over your stove. And we're going to replace the lid so that we can let that come back up to a boil. And then we're going to add our pasta. You always want to make sure that you salt the water so that way your pasta has flavor of its own. Your pasta isn't bland. And so now we're going to add the pasta to the hot water and give it a quick stir. That's going to help to keep it from sticking. And then we'll replace the lid and bring that back up to a boil. We're going to go over to the food processor and add our shelled pistachios. These are roasted and salted pistachios. I like to use those because they do not require as much salt on the back end for seasoning. And then we're going to put in our basil, and we're also going to add some chopped garlic. I also grow my own garlic, and I will have a video on growing garlic in the fall when I do my fall planting. But we're gonna just chop that garlic really finely. I like to chop my garlic before I add it because you don't wanna have big chunks of garlic, and you don't wanna have to pulse or process the pesto for an exorbitant amount of time. So we're gonna go ahead and add our chopped garlic to our pistachios and basil, and then we're going to add in our extra virgin olive oil. And then after we add the extra virgin olive oil, that's when I normally add in the chopped spinach. Because it's already chopped, I just like to add it at the end. And it's going to also, because of that little bit of water that's coming over from the chopped spinach and the moisture, it's going to give the pesto a creamier consistency. The water from the spinach is going to emulsify the olive oil, and it's also going to help to emulsify with the the oils from the pistachios, and this is what it's gonna look like at the end. I partnered this with just some fresh tomatoes that I seasoned with just some sea salt and black pepper and a little bit of olive oil, and that's the baked chicken that came out of the oven. So this was just a really quick meal that I put together. It took maybe all of a half an hour, 30 minutes, minus the prep time for brining the chicken on the front end. But this is really quick. Thank you guys for joining me again for this episode of Miss Elle Presents. Of course, like, comment, and subscribe, and stay tuned for more videos. I do so appreciate you guys being a part of the channel and a part of the community. Let me know how this recipe works out for you guys, and I look forward to bringing you something great next week. Bye-bye. Kisses.